I have pressed the button.
Ooh.
You are now broadcasting to our wide array of viewers.
Oh my god.
AKA,
Hello, Mum.
it's you, Kieran, and my mum.
Woo! Well, welcome one and all to another session of Shores of Potential. Our first little anything played in my homebrew world of Archivia. Last session was completely insane, and I still haven't quite got my head around all of it, but I'm doing my best. God, shit went down on an unprecedented scale. We had a witch hunt for the Burgomaster over a mirror. We had civil unrest being fomented by arguably the person who would find it the most difficult to win the hearts and minds of the people, Asari Tiefling, but has done a very good job. Poor Pushkin the furry has tried his best at every point and has met with some great success and rewards, but is also quite disturbed by the anger of the people aboard the ship. But perhaps the most eventful character of last session was a one Eleanor Grassfoot, who, having completed the task that she dwelled on for so long, taking bloody vengeance on Dern Bloodhorn, found the satisfaction and sense of justice lacking entirely, and was left with nothing but the same aching hole inside her. Thank you, Anya. But things went such a weird way, not at all how I planned. Bits and pieces. There was a quarantine below decks, and Pushkin taking charge, and people going about, and the Pushkin and the Burgomaster kind of being in charge for a bit, while Salia slept in and Portia wept in. Which then led to Pushkin and the Burgomaster deciding who would receive the precious potential medicine to help with the bout of seeds pox that has taken a grip amongst the civilian crew. But then, very sneakily, towards the end of the session, Salia, actually in charge of Tikiela, the goblin herbalist, instructed her to give it to different people. The rolls have been made as the night passes, and you'll all find out who survived and what's gone on in the dark on the night of holding. But before that, Eleanor Grassfoot. Tough to tell exactly when night is when you're inside a box.
True.
But time passes, and a sound, after some length of time, you don't really know how long, hours, eventually your adrenaline fades and you're drifting in and out of consciousness. But a sound begins to accompany the heartbeat and the rocking sounds of the creaking ship outside of your little refuge. The sound is of whispers. And before too long, as you kind of slip in and out, half waking, dozing, half sleeping and dreaming, you find yourself, instead of inside the box, instead up on deck of the quiver sail. Only it looks a little different.
God. Fuck me.
Wreathed in shadow, the great moon, Sina, out in the sky above the water and reflected around you. Your world is one of harsh black and white. The ship itself, you're barely able to make out the boards, and you are deeply, immediately alone on the deck. The ship is still. No wind pushes on the sails. It sits in the black water that surrounds you. The only sound that you hear is the lilting melody of a song played by your latest victim, Elsie Windchurn. It's coming from the opposite end of the ship to you.
She'll apprehensively move towards the source of the sound.
Yeah. And as you walk, you notice that as your feet hit the ground, the planks of the wood, there is no sound there either. It is just this silent world and this lilting tune. Your sword at your side, seemingly the only slight element of colour in the dreamscape here. A deep dark red. But as you move to the front, you see beneath you, in the water as you look down, she's not on the ship, but instead caught just beneath the dark ripple of the still sea around you is the hazy, spectral figure of Elsie Windchurn. And around her you see one other figure you recognize, the large Minotaur form of Dern Bloodhoof. And just behind them, difficult to make out, you see 3 other shadowy figures just beneath the surface of the black water. How does Eleanor react?
She doesn't... I think she feels guilty. There's still such a strong feeling of resentment for Dern, but it's almost like this resentment that's transformed into pity. I think she looks down at the shadowy figures in the water, and I almost imagine her looking down into the water, expecting to see her own reflection. Her soul is very much mirrored by them. It's drowning in black depths, and then eventually I think her focus would switch to Elsie as the song just gets louder and louder, and I think she would she'd call out to her and just say, almost like, just like her voice cracking. I'm not even going to try and roleplay it out, but I think her voice would like crack, and she would say, it wasn't supposed to be like this. I didn't mean... I don't think she can really get her words out. I think she would look down at the red hue of the sword, the reflection of all the blood and pain that she's caused. And she would just think aloud, maybe even speak aloud in this dark place, that she would just very much just be like, there has to be another way. This can't be. We can undo this. they can, these, looking to the shadowed souls again, it's like they don't have to remain in the water. Surely there must be a way to fix this. And she just draw the sword, hold it up at her face, and she just looks at her own reflection like she expected to see in the dark waters, but sees it in blood red pools of red silver light within the sword itself. A bloody reflection of herself as she just shouts at the sword, like you can see dark black tears running down her face, and just calling out over and over that it doesn't have to, we can fix this, right? We can, almost like expecting reassurance from the sword itself.
Yeah.
And assuming if she doesn't get any answer, she'll try and launch it into the water if she doesn't receive an answer.
She doesn't receive an answer, but as she turns to launch it towards the water, the 5 figures are now standing on the deck with you. Elsie speaks and says, "Is this really all there was? My life lost for a mistake." Stern, growling tone speaks up and says, "You have more power. You can claim more. What are you waiting for? Make my death worthy." And the 3 other figures, still just these hazy shadows in front of you, almost as if they're still beneath the water, but impossibly standing there. They say in unison, "She waits for you on the Isles. She waits for you."
She just looks confused, and I think in the aftermath of Dern and Elsie's comments, she just almost is just, as one would do in a situation where you've killed someone on purpose and you've accidentally killed another person, I think she'd be shying away from any form of responsibility over one death, and then almost, I don't know, maybe she would be over both in different ways.
Yeah. As each of them spoke, as Elsie spoke, the sword felt icy cold in your hand. As Dern spoke, it was the opposite, this fiery power surging through your clenched fist. And as the 3 figures spoke, the sword in your hand would rise up in front of you, and in the reflection you see the figure with whom you have initially brokered your deal. As they say, "She waits for you in the Isle."
I think
But the dream...
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I think she would just... I think she would just lower the sword in shame.
Mm-hmm.
This is not what she wanted.
Yeah, and as you do, what dream world around you dissipates and you fall into a deep, dark sleep for the rest of the night, cramped in the hold box.
Did I disconnect? Fuck's sake. Of course I did. Wouldn't be a session of D&D without my internet dying 5 minutes in. Come on, computer.
red. Her features are undeniably beautiful. Long black hair falls down across her shoulders, and she's smiling, just looking around your cabin.
Salia would sit up and just stare and say, you got to knock before you come in my room.
Are you there now, Natalie?
I am, yes, already. See, literally as you ended the dream, and I was
Oh
like,
no,
is he just sitting there in silence for ages? I was like, no.
we're in Salia's room. There's a figure sat on the end of her bed,
Oh shit, okay.
and Salia's just said,
You got to knock before you come in my room.
"Oh, it's never been that way before, dear Salia."
Well, new rules.
I don't really like the rules up here. They tend to get in the way of things. But you seem to be having a lovely time.
She kinda,
Interesting.
rubs her eyes. It's like, yeah, it's been interesting. Knocking these nobles down a peg.
Yes, you're doing a wonderful job. Do you have any thoughts about where these nobles might end up? And she gives you a really kind of cheeky smile, showing her fangs and teeth.
Since you're here, nowhere good, I expect.
Well, we can always make good use of such wonderful, delicious blue blood.
What do you propose?
Well, and she stands up, turns to face you, and in the motion of her turning, kind of swings the right side of her coat open, and you see inside there's all manner of different strange trinkets and different bits of jewelry and so on. And she gestures with her left hand to a row of, just got to count, 5 stones. Each of these stones are of a dark, pretty much black glass, like an obsidian. And Salia's got fairly good passive perception, right?
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, you can see even in the dark of the bedroom, there's like a very faint red carving in each of them. It looks like the same on each one, like a symbol, and it just seeing the symbols awakens some of your feelings you've had in the past to do with your heritage and so on. She gestures to them and just says, nothing complicated. You just need to make sure that if and when our dear superiors perish, that these little trinkets are left on their person. Preferably around the neck, of course, but tied around the wrist or even shoved in a pocket, and they always love their pocket, would do just fine.
I'll try my best, but we are surrounded by the ocean. We could end up in the sea.
This is true. But before they hit the water, if they just took a little extra jewelry with them, it would be very much appreciated. And as she says that last part, she looks directly into your eyes, and you can see this like reflection of fire within her eyes.
Suppose I can't say no to you, can I?
Well, as you know, this isn't a one-way system. We're all ears for how we might help you in your endeavors.
I'm not sure. I think I'm...
You needn't come up with anything now, my dear. It's the middle of the night, but just keep in mind, should you need the favor of myself or the one who sent me, just think it. Just think of me. And we'll see what we can do.
Good to know.
Do we have a deal? She raises her hand forward to you.
I do know how good your deals can be, I suppose. Deal. She'll shake her hand.
And as she clasps your hand, there's a little wreath of fire. Doesn't burn you, but it traces its way around each of your fingers, in between and back out again. And this figure, who you know, her name is Harten Reth, but she prefers to go by Harry.
Harry.
Hard 10 ref. I'll write that down.
Harten Reth.
How do you spell it?
I will make it visible for everybody.
Please do.
Her grin widens more than is natural, and she just says, "Wonderful. You really are such a treasure. Have a..."
Do you know how demanding I can be, right? These favours back?
The eyes narrow slightly. Well, each of your more illustrious sailing companions is worth a good deal to the one who sent me. So, if we're all on the same page and you manage to bring them down to where they belong, I would say you can be as demanding as you like.
She just nods.
Excellent. Well, I shall leave you to your rest. Sleep well.
Until next time.
Always a pleasure. And as she walks off, there's again this like wreathing of flame, and she's gone from the room.
So, how many pebbles was it? Gems, I mean?
5.
5 gems. Okay.
Cool. Next, we're going to Pushkin, who is happily snoring away, and the Burgomaster, who's happily snoring away.
Oh,
And so-
no, shit.
And so we bring ourselves to the 4th day of your voyage, the 2nd of Fulsin. Bring us back to our normal map. We have some things to do. Could I have whoever rolls first a single d20, please? Let's see what the weather's doing.
18.
18 from Anya. I think 18 actually does a thing. Quick look. Mm-mm-mm-mm. 18. It does! Wow. Done a really good job. Let's see you roll another one, please, Anya.
4.
4. Okay. A light fog coalesces across the water and the ship, but not so much that it's going to obscure any vision or make navigation more difficult. It looks like a sea fog that will burn away as the sun rises, and otherwise the sky is beautifully clear and still. Looks like a good day for sailing. You won't be traveling at the fastest speed, it's not windy, but you can catch enough on the breeze to keep going at a normal pace. My first question is... Oh no, that's not even a question. What am I on about? Eleanor is otherwise engaged right now, so Speculous Office Mills will once again be making the survival check on her own. Let's see how she does. She has a +3 to this. Oh! Wonderful. With that, I'll say that's going to make for an interesting conversation in a little bit. So that is going to be Where's my voyage tracker notes? Average speed 8 miles per hour. 8 times 24 is 192. So that will be. Right on here. If the wind picks up, you've probably only got one more day to land for. But if it doesn't pick up, probably a day and a half.
I'm sure nothing will go wrong in that time.
Feeling there.
But thanks to Anya's roll, the weather has settled. Settled weather. Clear stats. 8 miles per hour on track. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
It also depends where you want to go land, I guess.
Well, indeed, that is going to be a scene coming up real soon. 90. Actually, we'll do this properly. So the two herbalists attend each of their respective bosses largely at the same time. Because I haven't seen Pushkin yet, I want to check in with him. We'll do Pushkin first. Pushkin, you're met by Maven Telston, who looks immeasurably relieved in the morning. She tells you that oh my god, I've forgotten the name. Her daughter, Seria, your apprentice, has survived the night, and with the help of the medicine, has seen off the worst of Sea's pox and is now recovering from it. However, only one of the other initial 5 survived. Yeah, I did roll it all out. Anya as my witness. Aryan also survived. But Tristane Sandborn, Salus's painter, Locke Arrowhead, Salia's Fletcher / Archer, and Inkshine, Salus's scribe, all perished from Seath's pox. Maven is jubilant because of her daughter's survival, but catches herself and tells you that the danger still seems very present, and that 5 more people are showing early symptoms of Sea's pox. This seems to be spreading.
Wait a minute. Because they were in his cabin, right?
They were, yeah. And the deck was quarantined, so this shouldn't have been able to happen. Someone must have broken quarantine. And from your suggestion last session, only the 2 herbalists and Chuck were ever in contact with the people that they know of. And they took all sensible precautions and are convinced that they couldn't have spread the disease. Someone has broken quarantine and spread this further.
Well, Pushkin would be
Go ahead first, Pushkin, and then Salia.
Pushkin would be like, well, it's not really surprising with what happened yesterday. Anyone could have been anywhere on the boat.
Yes, that's true. I'm just glad that Seria's okay.
Is she recovering well? Or is she...
She's doing well, thank you, Pushkin. Yes, she's the swelling's gone down. She's breathing well on her own. She still feels very weak, but I think perhaps even by the end of the day, she might be okay to move around again.
Well, one step at a time. It can't be easy to see 4 other people die in the same room as you.
Yes, indeed. It's all
Is
been.
she well enough to read, at least?
Yes, I think she'd very much enjoy that. She's it would help keep her mind off things.
He'd give her a cookbook and be like, if she wants to read, she can have a peruse. It might help her get her mind off those who perished before her.
Oh, that's truly generous of you, sir. Thank you. I'll make sure that's with her straight away.
Can I ask a question, Tom?
Absolutely.
It is seeds pox, not seeds pox, right? Because
Yeah.
I think, yeah, okay. Last session, I think I was like, yeah, I think last session I was completely hearing you wrong and thought it was seeds pox like that.
That's completely fair.
And I was like, and in my head, I was like, why isn't it called seeds pox? Because they're smashing all the mirrors. That would make more sense.
Yeah.
And now I feel like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's yeah, it has been connected to seed with no scientific basis at all. It's simply because the symptoms
The
end up
held
looking
tongue.
like someone biting their tongue. Yeah,
Mhm.
which is seed symbol.
He would
yeah.
say, be like, I'm not accusing Sarah, of course, of breaking quarantine, but maybe you can impress upon her the importance of staying in the room.
Yes, I absolutely will. Thank you, Pushkin. The only other thing, I don't know whether to do you want me to report to the Lord, or shall I leave this with you?
He'd just sigh, be like, I don't know what the Lord would do. He's lost his only point of power in this vessel. It's best that the medical profession handle it.
Right. Of course.
Maybe.
Thank
He doesn't know who to say to, like, pretty
Yeah.
much all the authority's gone, so he's a bit like,
Yeah,
what
and
if, but he doesn't know.
the only other thing she would tell you is the identities of the new 5 who seem to be showing symptoms. She'd reassure you that they have been moved to the same quarantine system that you set up. 2 of them are under your care. Kelta
Mhm.
Burnhammer, the 8-year-old
Oh, yeah.
orc girl, and then Tikpan, the 9-year-old goblin hunter-gatherer. Seems the children aren't so lucky.
Yeah. What he would do, because he's got 3 morsels today, he'd give, and I've decided one of them already.
Mhm.
That's probably not going to help anything, but he'd give her the packed protein, which I guess is food. And
Yeah.
would the almond milk that helps people go to sleep, would that help them recover because their body's less active?
Potentially, yeah. Could
He'd
help
say-
workers. Yeah.
He'd say give those to the children, like one each. You decide who gets which one.
Yeah. She says thank you and bows deeply. Says you've been a real comfort throughout all of this, Pushkin. Thank you.
You'd be like, there's no need for bowing, dear. We passed all that. And he'd look a bit like downtrodden.
Yeah. She'd shuffle out of the room and inform you that the 3 who aren't under your care are Serge Sandborn, 14 years old, under the care of Salia. The old gnome librarian, charter sophist Henwin Mabignon,
No.
who is under the care of the Burgomaster. And another one under the care of the Burgomaster, a human engineer, Petro Milterin, 43 years old.
Yeah, for that other kid, he would try and find some food and be like, I need to keep their strength up.
Yeah, she'd have a real, like, appreciative and quite sort of loving look in her eyes as you hand that over. She'd be like, thank you, and head off to her duties. Salia, do you have any particular reaction as Tikyella brings you this news?
Well, it was just Locke that died, wasn't it?
From your crew, yes.
Okay. And then
Yeah, Aryan survived and is doing
Okay.
well.
good. But you said it was another Sandborn that was down?
Yeah, Serge Sandborn,
Yeah.
the apprentice
Okay.
carpenter.
But the Sandborn in the other thing died. Was it the dad?
Tristane, yeah. You know, just from probably Sturge telling you during one of your parties, that the Sandborns are an extended family. It's essentially two. It's the father, two marriages or two partnerships,
Mhm.
and the extended family there, but they kind of function as one big family. So yeah, not a good time for the Sandborns. And one of the Sandborns is in the brig from being part of the people who trust up the Burgomaster.
I mean, she's not really the comforting type. I think she would probably just give them a sort of knowing look and just say, "We did all we could," and our group will stay strong as much as we can. But you do whatever you need to. You take a day, take several days. But Surge is ill, right? I'm confused.
Surge is coming down with Seeth's pox, yeah.
Okay. In particular is coming to tell me.
Yep.
Yeah, you just say that you make sure Surge gets the best care. You know, try and keep
Right.
most of the family, right?
Right. Yes. It is worrying.
Mm.
We have maintained a quarantine, but clearly someone has broken the lines. Should this continue to happen, I can't guarantee the sickness won't spread. We are on a confined vessel.
This is the problem with separating everyone into silly groups, isn't it, really? You know, the nobles wanted everyone to have their groups, but there's no way to force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. You can't force somebody to stay in a room if they don't want to do. I guess.
Indeed.
Yeah, I guess there's not really much point in trying to find out who it was now. If it's spread to the top side anyway.
Yeah.
Hopefully only just a short journey until we get there. Then we can abandon this foolish ride.
Good. Good. Right. I'll be about my duties then. She heads off. The Marines are still in bed. There's currently no sickness amongst the sailing crew. Would Salia, because she didn't attend to her duty yesterday, she had her hungover lion. Would she be trying to today, or is she just leaving that?
I think she's leaving it now. They're what? They're a day away. She's
Completely fair.
Elsie's gone.
Yeah.
She's just gonna go do what she wants, essentially.
Mm.
Help the ship in different ways. She's not telling anyone what to do or anything.
Yep.
Just sort of giving the occasional like if they want it, like a correction, like a tip how to do something better occasionally.
Of course, just like as it's happening, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Pushkin, same old with food.
It goes to that guy again. One in the hold.
Dredge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Giving him Zalpi.
You head down.
You'd
the
also
hold.
take enough for the rest of it, guys, actually.
Okay. On your way down, Toria Mooncloud would kind of call out and be like, "Is this sensible? You said to not send anyone down there."
My risk is my own. They need food down there, don't they?
Might I grant you an escort, at least? My men are out of action, but I'm still ready and willing.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
All right. Gives you a nod. You head down into the hold. You see the array of people in the brig now. Dredge is definitely not alone. Crowley and Burnhammer. Got them all written out. Currently in the brig, Dredge, Crowley and Burnhammer, Sorgreave Telston, Arsenia Highhesp, Flask, Fonta Burake, Deton Sootclench, and Swell Sandborn. So quite an array of people down there. But yeah, what does Pushkin do?
Well, he brought a little platter cup with him,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd like pour out a drink for everybody, and be like, "You poor souls getting trapped down here." Just hand out a drink to all of them. It's not long until we make landfall. Only a day. I can't imagine they'll keep you in here.
Okay. This might seem a weird question, but I need to know exactly how Pushkin hands out the drinks.
Who would do Dredge first?
Okay.
And then you give it to the rest of them.
Okay, as he goes to give drinks to any of the rest of them near Dredge, Dredge is going to make a lunge for the drinks held by the rest of them. And I'm telling you because Pushkin would see this coming a mile off. Like, Dredge's eyes are watching the cup as it's coming in through the bars.
What? One to Dredge?
Dredge would have his... When you initially give him his, he drains it. As you go to hand one to someone nearby him, his eyes are watching it as he comes in, and you can see he's ready to, like, lunge.
Just like Dredge? No.
Make a persuasion check. I almost said animal handling. He's not in a good state.
I don't know what it's doing. I thought from the character sheet. What was it? Persuasion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna take the first value, which is the natural 20. Yeah, Dredge's eyes go to you, and there's a real authority to your voice. And he says, "Sorry, sir. Can Dredge have more, please? I can be useful. There was someone down here in the night, scurrying and scratching on the other side." And he's like pointing towards the other side of the ship.
He kind of casts his eyes over there. Very good, Dredge. And then he'd hand the drinks out to the other guys, and then pour a little one for Dredge.
Okay. He'd say, "Yes, someone small, scratching, scraping." But then
Well done, Dredge. He'd say to the other guys, "Do they know what happened?"
In terms of
everything that happened yesterday.
They were taken down to the brig after the Burgomaster was cut down, so no. Because everything with the quarantine, no one's been moving around.
Yeah, he'd tell them everything then.
Shit. Would he tell them about the deaths?
Yep.
Ooh, yeah. So, Sorgreave, the father of Seria, is incredibly relieved and cries openly, and thanks you. Swell cries sadly for the death of his father, Tristane. There's a real fear throughout all of them, and they ask you what's being done about the disease? Will we catch it?
We're trying to quarantine them, but I think someone broke it. But you'd look over into the corner because there's also that. He's like, I don't know if you're safer down here or up there.
Okay. They kind of look a bit worried, but many of them thank you for the drink, and for keeping them in the loop.
Yeah, he'd be like, I'm sure you won't be kept down here when we land. It's not proper having 5 able-bodied people down here when there's some stuff to do when we arrive.
Yeah, they nod enthusiastically, except for Crolian, who seems to be sulking at the back of the pack. And a couple of them still have a bit of a look in their eyes. They still seem a little bit that they think they shouldn't be here because they did the right thing with the but yeah,
agrees. But yeah. Well, you're probably safer down here. And keep an eye out, would you? It's probably safer if you all did.
There's not much else to do.
Yeah, Fishkip nod. And then if he's making his way back up,
Mm-hmm.
he would let the Marine commander know about what Dredge said.
Okay. Tell Toria about the scratching in this small figure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she would immediately head down into the cargo hold, and begin her investigations. But that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and you go and start with breakfast for everyone.
Oh yeah, breakfast time. Burgermaster.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Hannah. There seems to be a few internet issues at the moment. But Burgermaster, will you be heading to the Lord's quarters for your daily meeting for designing New Quivershank?
I think he'd try, but he's worried the Lord's pissed off with him.
Okay. So you'd head there? Knock on the door? You knock, and you can hear the sound of someone inside scribbling away on parchment, but no one answers the door. Knocking again. The scribbling stops. The sound of an unmistakably an old man groaning as he stands up. Makes his way to the door, and on the other side of the door as it opens is Permian, the Lord's purse. Just says, Burgermaster, must be here for your designing appointment. The Lord currently is still aslumber, but I think it's probably best if you wake him. He's in his chamber.
Yes, so thank you, Parmian. I was just, I wasn't sure exactly if there would be a town planning meeting today, but offer
Yes.
him some normality and all that.
We're all very devastated by the loss of Elsie. She was big figure and influence around the Lord, but I think perhaps it's best to keep his mind occupied. He was speaking gibberish last night when he returned from the night of holding festivities. So perhaps you can pep him up a little.
I can but try, Permian. I give it my best shot.
Okay. So do you head back to the Lord's chambers? Yeah. You push the curtain that's draped across the doorway aside, and you see, in a bit of disarray, the covers, the many layers of fancy silk covers, all kind of scrunched up and bunched in different places. You see the figure of Lord Quivershank snoring into his pillow, a thick line of drool out onto the bed linen.
You.
What do you do?
He'd just stand there and sort of awkwardly clear his throat.
There is no response from the Lord.
He'd probably do it a bit louder then.
Yeah, the Lord kind of groans. Ugh. Ugh. Elsie, it's not time yet. Just give me another 10 minutes or something.
He'd say, my lord, it's just me.
Oh, Burgermaster. What? Oh. Right.
Best friend.
Right. He kind of rubs his eyes. What are you doing here?
I didn't know if you wanted to do the town planning meeting as always, my lord. I know it's been quite the last 24 hours for you, but I didn't know if normality was what you were seeking, my lord.
Kind of staring off into space. Do you think I made a good impression on the people last night, Burgomaster?
Yes, my lord.
During the festivities, I mean, the night of holding, us all sitting around and saying what we have and what we're thankful for.
I mean, I assume he would have done. I don't actually know. Like, you haven't said.
You know that I did actually. You know that the reception was mixed. He started off actually winning hearts and minds quite well, but then he kept getting bogged down in and I'm thankful for my wonderful mansion and all the silverware that's so shiny, and then people didn't like that so much. So Salas would be fully aware of that.
Well, he's not going to rub it in now. Clearly, he doesn't really give a shit about Elsie, to be fair, because he's just like, did the people love me? Did I look hot when I was crying? He would just, say, well, yes, my lord, I think they saw your presence as very, noble.
That's good. Yes, let's have our meeting. I'll join you. And he swings his legs out of the bed, and you can see that he didn't get properly undressed from the day before, and is just wearing the same stuff. Joins you and walks out barefoot towards the planning table. Right. Let's do some planning then. I was wondering if perhaps you had any thoughts on whether we needed to fortify the colony. What's it called again?
Jeez.
New Quivershank, my lord.
Right. New Quivershank.
I actually feel bad.
Yes. What do you think, Burgomaster? Fortifications? So if you want to roll for the Burgomaster, intelligence and wisdom, straight checks. Okay, that's fine. And then, what would the Burgomaster say about fortifications?
Well, my lord, it's important that we protect our people from the things in the land of New Quivershank that could possibly be a threat to them. But we must make sure to interact with the natives. They will often have things to trade with us, and be bought for a small piece of gold and give us the entire winter's worth of food. I figured he was being stupid today because that wasn't a great roll.
Do you think she'll come after me next, Burgomaster?
What makes you think that, my lord?
Well, she after what she did to poor Elsie.
What would be her reasoning?
I don't know.
I think for now, sir, just cross that bridge when you come to it.
Right. Yes. Whatever you think with the natives and all that. I trust in you, Burgomaster. I'm going to go and change my clothes.
I'm sure you will look most dignified, my lord.
Yes. This evening we'll give Elsie a proper send off. Good day, Burgomaster. And he leaves the chamber. Can you roll an appropriate check for the Burgomaster to see how well he figures out what would be sensible with fortifications?
Fortifications.
Very good. An 8. Okay. All these rolls you've been doing and everything. When you guys finally get to the island, you're basically going to have like a blueprint of what the Burgomaster thinks the place should look like. Whether it actually comes to pass will be another question. Cool. Fortifications. Check. Okay. Is there anything anyone has that they'd particularly be doing? Eleanor, you'd be very aware that there's someone moving around the area outside your box.
Yeah, I think she would. She's not going to come out of the box, especially if she can hear someone that close. But I was going to ask, sort of like, how aware she would be of people searching for her.
There doesn't seem to have been. Well, do a wisdom check. Insight, if you're proficient.
Oh, yeah, well. To add +3 to that.
Oh, 10. It takes a bit of time. When you first hear footsteps around, you assume it is a search for you, and your adrenaline just goes spiking through the roof again. But after a short while, you figure out, like, this person isn't going through boxes, they're not moving stuff around. It sounds like they're just looking at, like, the same spot for a long time. Like, the footsteps haven't moved for ages.
Yeah.
So you think probably it's not to do with you?
I think she'd still remain hidden for now. She's just in such a bad place that she's not really in a position to kind of like talk to anyone anyway.
Yeah,
it's not
completely fair.
Yeah, I think she's still. I think she's still very much in shock, panic, and kind of like bargaining mode. I think she's very much like going over like anxious processes in her head. And you know when you've got that really intense anxiety and you're just like, you're almost like being like, okay, I'll do this and then do this and do this, and it's like, oh wait,
right.
that won't work, this won't work, and just saying, how can I she's trying to work out how she can fix this, but there's ultimately, we all know there is no fix. So
okay, completely fair. Anything from anybody else as the fourth day commences? The sailors go about their work.
I think Salia would have her passive perception. Would she have noticed that the Burgomaster and Portia and kind of Pushkin as well are not really talking to their groups today?
I'm definitely not talking to my group.
Yeah.
You'd certainly notice there's no one up on the main deck, really. You saw the Burgomaster head off to the quarterdeck cabins.
Pushkin would just check how everyone's feeling because of the the pox going around and how they feel about what happened, and just trying to calm everyone down.
Yeah, go ahead and make an insight and then a persuasion check for me, please.
Insight.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, you quickly pick up that people are scared. People are really unsure about what's going on. There's been so much happening. There's been bloodshed. There's still bloodstains on the deck. There's no Elsie now. Many of them speak of the night before the festivities having a big calming effect, and that if it hadn't been for that, they would be in a much worse spot. But yeah, they're struggling. But with your persuasion, so Pushkin's trying to calm people down.
His basic thing would be, we're all in this together. We're all a team. We all came here seeking better lives. Just because this has happened so early on, doesn't mean we can't live the lives that we wanted to live. Like, this is a new start for everybody.
Yeah.
Will Salia have heard the speech?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And
well, he wouldn't be doing it as a speech. He'd be doing it to
individual
everyone.
people.
Well, yeah, like their little clusters.
Passive perception, would she have noticed that speech?
Sort
of notion of...
I think she definitely would. I think the question would be less about perception and more about whether Pushkin notices Salia eavesdropping. So you can feel free to make a stealth check for me, Salia. And we'll do it against Pushkin's passive perception.
I'm not on Roll20 because it lags me to shit. So I'm going to do it on the thing.
Cool.
And I
Yeah,
got
just
a
let me know.
5.
A 5.
Yeah.
That's going to fail unless Pushkin has a -6 to his perception score. So yeah, Pushkin, you notice that Salia keeps cropping up, like where you go and speak to different people. She's clearly like like trying to listen to what you're saying. But from the people themselves, you notice that your work goes down really well. People take comfort from it. You speak with an authority and a sort of gentleness that helps to ease their fears, and you see more and more people kind of sloping off to be useful, be productive for the day, and helping out, filling in gaps where people are either in the brig or have died. So yeah,
he wouldn't really care if Salia's listening. He doesn't really suspect anything, and he's probably more just thinking, why isn't she working?
Yeah, completely fair.
So Salia will not listen to the whole conversation. She will eavesdrop just a little bit, enough to know kind of what he's talking about. And just to sort of counter it with like, we're all in it together except the nobles because they don't do anything essentially.
Okay.
They just stand around giving orders and stuff while she's going around and actually trying to give people tips and help and do some work with them.
Does she in any way call out Pushkin in particular?
No, just nobles, higher ups in general. Anyone giving them orders, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
And it's not like a long conversation. It's just kind of like a quip to everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a 3.
You're rolling very poorly, and Pushkin's rolling very well. Yeah, the people don't react like negatively. No one confronts you, but it feels like your words are falling a little bit on deaf ears, and you really notice like just how they're all kind of swept up in Pushkin's idea of like, new start. Come on, there's always going to be like teething problems. We'll be okay. That kind of thing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Toria would... Yeah, honestly, seeing as you were the one who spoke to her, Pushkin, this is kind of more towards midday. She would come find you, Pushkin, and say that she actually couldn't find anything in the cargo hold, except, and she thinks perhaps Dredge was confused, and this is where the scratching came from. There's quite a few rats down there, and I need everybody for a bit of fun, to roll a D100 for me, please. And let me know.
81.
Oh god, these are high rolls. Yep. 81, 72.
5.
Oh my god, 85. 5, 0, 5.
0, 5.
Ooh, that's gonna help a shit ton. Okay. 90, 6, 2, 2, 4. 2, 4, 3, 4. Cool. Okay. Just do some quick maths. Times 5. Okay. She would inform you, Pushkin, that from her inspection, having found some of these rats, she's killed a few of them, but many of them scurried away. That it looks like your stores. It's on the tracker. It looks like you are down to. So that becomes 27. You're down to about 27% of your initial setting out stuff. So it still looks like enough to get you there, but it looks like the rats have eaten away and spoiled quite a large percentage of the food.
Okay. He'd say, guess people have to do a bit less.
Yeah.
He'd be annoyed, but it is what it is.
Yeah, completely fair. The day wears on. Please interrupt me if anyone has anything that they'd be doing. But the only other notable thing that happens in the daytime of day 4 is that a small cry goes up, an excited cry from some of the kids on the main deck. They seem to have spotted there's a very large school of fish kind of swimming along next to the ship. And people start calling for fishing rods and nets and such. Does anyone get involved or tell them not to or encourage them?
I think so. I'll just go and have a look, make sure it's not a big shark.
You go and look, and no, some of these fish are breaking the surface. And with your experience on the sea, Saleh, you can see that this is a school of sturgeon.
Nice.
Swimming alongside the ship. Let's have anyone who thinks they would be here and getting involved do a religion check for me, please. Or a nature check. Either one.
13.
13. Yeah, with your Sari background, you'd be aware that sturgeon is seen as a sacred animal in connection to Saltcrest, which is the Kiad shore connected to the oceans.
Oh, okay.
That has it has a lot of interpretation to it. Like completely devastating a school of sturgeon probably wouldn't be a great idea in terms of connection to the Kiad shore. But as nature spirits, there isn't a sense of like sacred, not allowed to touch. Full stop.
Right. How likely does she think it would be able to catch one of these sturgeon when the ship is on the move?
You think,
Yeah.
from weighing up the people getting involved, probably just because so many people are stuck up on the main deck now because of the quarantine, they're probably not great at it, but there's enough of them that they're likely to catch at least some.
Okay. But not decimate it.
No.
She'd probably discourage some people, but not like an order, like don't do it type thing. Just like, could be bad luck type it, because she knows they're like superstitious already, so she might sow that a little bit. But
Yeah, very true. Cool. Would anybody be fishing themselves?
Not from the barrel.
no.
I would
Cool.
be doing something though.
Oh, yep, go ahead.
Would that noise still be outside the box?
The footsteps eventually walked away and
Okay.
you heard them going up the ladder. nearby.
Would there be a hole in the barrel or anything? Or not really.
In the
it's-
box, it's certainly not like perfectly made. There's probably be little cracks.
Would she
and
have been able
such.
to get any kind of sign of who it was?
Make a perception check with disadvantage. Ooh, yeah, okay.
12.
You catch a flash of the kind of the boots and lower leg, and because you've seen her multiple times, you would have recognized it as the preferred uniform of Toria Mooncloud.
Okay, definitely don't want to see her.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
Cool. Yep. Some people managed to catch some fish. Pushkin, do you try and engage in terms of the food stores or anything like that, or are you just letting people catch stuff and?
No, he's just letting people do it. Like if they want
Oh.
this for labour, do what they want with it.
Yeah, that's fair. Between your discouragement, Salia, and it largely being left to the kids, only a handful of sturgeon are caught, and before too long, the school diverts away, and the ship continues on with its journey as we head into the evening. As the evening comes around, and high fire begins to fall below the horizon, and Cena is left dominant in the sky, the Lord makes an appearance on the main deck, clad all in black, with a fine white and silver embellished trim across much of his clothes. He seems very serious and solemn, but he addresses the crowds and says, "Citizens of New Quivershank, it has been a dark day. We've lost people dear to us. It is only right we see them off with the proper respect of a Hespian funeral. If you'll join me, we can say a few words for sending their bodies down into the depths, but their souls up beyond, past Great Cena, into the darkness to rest." You see, he's flanked by other members of his retinue: Permian, Speculus Office Mills, Zython. Sorry, Salia?
Nothing. I just thought we already dumped the body. Everyone was like,
No. Bodies have been kept to one side, but they haven't been dumped.
oh, okay. Oh, I would have put the little gem on it then. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah, no. You'd be aware of this if you want to try for it. Who would you be trying to put the gem on? On Elsie?
Probably on Elsie, yeah, she's the most nobly.
Yeah. Would you try to give any excuse or anything? Elsie's body is not kept in the Lord's chambers. It's kept in an empty cabin in the quarterdeck, so not that far from your own quarters.
Okay. If anyone's like there, she would just say, "Oh, it's like a Sari tradition to place these gems on the body. Good luck and whatnot."
Yeah, very good. People would not challenge you on that, so I will say you get in there without issue. You place the trinket around her neck.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. So the night comes about, and as fire is finally moving over the edge of the horizon, the bodies that have been killed are arrayed on the ground. Elsie Winchurn, the victims of Seeth's Pox, Loch Arrowhead, Tristane, Sanborn, and Inkshine. And the young man who I will have to look up, which makes me feel like a bad person, but the one who was killed by Elsie herself. One of the sailors. Snooze Silrend McCren. Are laid out on the floor. The body of Dern Bloodhorn as well, or what's left of it. They are placed near the edge of the ship, an open space used usually for the boarding plank, where bodies can be easily pushed off the side. In Hespian tradition, the bodies are laid out and their faces, or their heads slightly shifted to be facing Sina, the Great Moon, and they're bathed in moonlight as they lie there, and the last of the daylight diminishes. Lord Quivershank, in his mourning clothes, stands at the head of Elsie and says, with a bit of a tremor to his voice, "She was a wonderful person, a very talented musician, and a treasured friend. I will miss her greatly. But I know a spirit as strong as hers will make its way to the far side of Sina and be at peace." Is there anyone who would speak for any of the other fallen? And some people would begin to step forward, but would any of you players want to say anything for any of the people that have died?
I think I knew any of them, right?
I don't think any of them are under your care, no.
Yes, enough about Elsie to say.
Yeah, completely fair.
Like Salia would, she probably wouldn't mention any of the higher ups, but she would mention those of her own group and the family of her group that died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's completely fair, and they nod to you with thanks and respect. And they say a few words of their own. The surviving scribe amongst your group, Salia, seems like they actually had a good friendship with the Kenku scribe who died.
Yeah. Sorry, I was about to say as well that she would also mention that the rest of them that died as well. That, you know, had we all been in the same sort of group, you know, not separated, maybe we could have had more time together.
Oh, yeah, okay. That ripples out amongst the crowd. Burgomaster?
The Burgomaster is just going to be trying to poach the other scribe as soon as is reasonably possible.
Yep. How does he do this? So to give you context, the other scribe would have stepped forward to speak for Inkshine, the Kenku who died, and talked with tears in her eyes. She's a young human, she's only 18. Talked about how the Kenku had taught her so much. She'd been losing interest in being a scribe until she met with him, and he had a love of playing card games and like a beautiful sense of humor and the way he'd always make her laugh. But please tell me how the Burgomaster tries to influence her.
Well, he won't be. He's just going to be talking to Salia and being like, well, given that my scribe has died, I think that I...
And that's better or worse.
You have no need of her, and I have a wife.
Well, if she wants to go with you, Burgomaster, be my guest and try.
I mean, two of my people did die. I mean, it's kind of somebody owes me one.
Burgomaster, if you want to try, you can go and ask her. I'm holding no one back.
Yeah, he'd go up once you finished talking and everyone's sort of milling about again. He'd go up to her and he'd try.
After the speeches and such.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a few words are said, and you can see how much people are devastated by the loss of their loved ones. The teenage poet, what's his name? He's another one of Salus's, I believe. Oh no, he's in the brig. He doesn't get to go to his father's funeral. That's very sad.
Oh, that's not right. If Pushkin knew that, he'd have said something.
Okay. What would he have said, and to whom?
To the Marine commander.
Okay.
He'd been like, even though he's a criminal, he should be able to see his father's passing, should he not? Is that the kind of society that he wants?
She wouldn't put up much resistance, and seeing as you're only asking for one of them to be let out, she would just take it upon herself to escort him directly.
But anyone who's got bereaved, who's bereaved. I think there's two, wasn't there?
There is. There's no one else in the brig that's had someone die, I don't think.
Okay, yeah, that's fine then.
Yeah. So he'd be brought up and he recites some very heartfelt but awfully composed poetry about his father. It's quite moving. And probably most moving of all is the sister of Loch Arrowhead, who is just devastated, absolutely devastated. She speaks of him like she's speaking to him, and you can see the sibling kind of rivalry, and it's almost like she's more angry that he had the nerve to leave her alone on this journey. And she really struggles and kind of has to be gathered up by other friends and such around her. But words are said. Toria Mooncloud gives a very clipped, short few words about Dern Bloodhorn. Doesn't seem like there's a huge amount of love lost there. But as silence finally descends, a nod is given, and some of the stronger sailors who've been put in position move to gently throw people into the sea. Let their bodies fall into the water.
Before before this happens with Elsie's body, the Pushkin would probably like sidle up when they're doing the little recitings and be like, should she be buried at sea, my lord, or should she be buried on the land that she most bravely set out to conquer?
Perhaps you're right, Pushkin. I just don't want her to and he kind of wrinkles his face up a bit. I don't really know what happens, but I know that bodies can go bad.
Right, my lord. Maybe she will be better beneath the waves where no one can reach her.
Kind of nods. I appreciate your thought, though. We won't forget her, and there'll be something brilliant in her memory. I'm actually going to speak to the Burgomaster about memorialization of the lost tomorrow. But thank you, Pushkin. Bodies, one after the other. It's a heavy splash as they hit the water. People kind of stand around and mill about. Burgomaster, you're going to speak to Tyler Greenhill, the young scribe. Do you want to do that now?
Can you give me like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Just finishing our dinner.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Pushkin. So as people are milling about, and it's fully dark now, I can have, seeing as I don't need to do this between sessions now, we can roll for the current sufferers of Seeth's pox. Those given morsels will be rolling with advantage. So that's Kelter.
It's all the children, basically.
Yeah, Tikpan and Surge. So, if people don't mind, I need some D20s. I'll say the people in charge will do their people. So, Pushkin, for Kelter, can you roll D20 with advantage, please? Just straight D20 with advantage.
Yeah.
14. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the discount.
It's all right.
that one.
A 14 is enough. Kelter seems to take strength from the morsel given to her, and a 12 would not have been enough. And will survive, as will be reported to both you and Salia by your resident herbalists. Can I have Salia roll 2d20s, so d20 with advantage for Surge, please? DC is a little bit lower for Surge, because she's a bit older, and a half.
Just Commander Surge.
Sorry?
It was a Pokemon joke, yeah.
Oh, I think you mean Lieutenant Surge. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Get out nerded.
With advantage, she got a 20. Natural 20.
Incredible. She absolutely bounces back. So that's 2 surviving so far, much better than the previous. The rolls I did before were pretty tragic. Pushkin again for Tikpan, advantage. Ooh, okay. Tikpan survives as well, thanks to the advantage. And then I will roll for the Burgomaster's one, because Anya is indisposed. But Chart Sophist is pretty old. DC is significantly higher, and she doesn't have advantage. Oh, you're back. Do you want to roll?
Yeah.
Yep. Just a single D20.
Oh, excuse me.
Seven.
Oh.
Oh,
Sadly-
you're good.
Sadly, the librarian passes away.
No.
Librarians are my favourite kind of people.
I know.
Who's
Should've
your
rolled better.
inspiration?
Do you have inspiration? Well, then no. And then finally, it's you again for Petro, the human engineer. If you wouldn't mind rolling another single D20, please.
Not Keith. No.
Master.
And 11 is actually enough. It's a stronger adult and fairly fit. Very good. Okay, only one casualty. And the herbalists would inform you that it doesn't seem like anybody else is showing symptoms of Seeth's pox, which is really good. Okay, now that you're back, are you ready to do your scene? No, I'm fine, thank you. Scurrying around. Gives me a moment to cross off Henwin.
Could have taken that cows in and make it another day.
Henwin crossed off. You're now officially below your beginning capacity on the journey. So, the Burgomaster finds Tyler Greenhill. What does he say?
Dead.
No. He wants to talk to her about being his scribe.
I'd forgotten about that already. I get confused by all the names. he just be like, "So, my dear girl, I mean, how do you fancy being the chief scribe on the team of somebody very important?"
He just says that. She looks up and there's you see she's very red-faced, red puffy eyes from crying. There's a real roller coaster of emotions. It goes from like surprise to anger to disbelief. And she just says, "Really? You're gonna ask me that now?"
No time like the present, my dear girl. Strike while the iron's hot.
She would fumble for her like satchel bag and pull out an inkwell and just toss the ink over the front of the Burgomaster, face and chest and everywhere, and just say,
"Never have I encountered such a rudeness in my life. I'm quite glad you said no."
"Well, you should just look in your precious mirror then." And then she'd turn and storm off.
Opportunity knocks. It doesn't always do it so at the most opportune of times, miss.
I think Salia is waiting nearby to sort of like, you know, grab her as she storms away, just in a kind of like give a look back at the Burgomaster, like, well done.
Yeah, she would give you a teary kind of chin up in the air nod, but head off somewhere private where she can grieve alone.
What's wrong with that?
But she just lost one of her good friends, and you were basically like, "Do you want his job?"
Yeah, there's a vacancy. We gotta fill it. Chop chop.
Jesus Christ. So
I'm more like my father than I'd like to admit.
people mill about on the deck of the ship under the strong moonlight of Cena for a while. Could I have everybody please make a perception check for me?
Would mine be with? Would I be exhausted, Tom? Because I haven't been eating.
Yes.
Yeah, so mine would be with disadvantage.
Is there not like rations down in the boxes where you are, or
I didn't bring any.
you're in the storage area?
Dunno,
They definitely are around. It's just whether you'd leave the box to get them.
She would not.
Okay.
Not
A
yet.
17. All right. In that case, the only person that notices this at first is Salia. Being sorry, you're attuned to the ways of the sea, and you notice that almost imperceptibly, the ship is still moving, the wind carrying it along, but almost imperceptibly breaking the shimmering reflection of Cena stretched out across the water. There's something else beneath the waves moving right nearby, and it's really, really big.
This is still nighttime, right?
Yeah, this is as people are milling about and still talking about the funeral stuff.
As she notices, she'll quickly run to the edge, have a closer look.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else more?
Yep, as you look down, a very large shape and the beginning of what looks like crystalline tips of large spines across the back. Unmistakably a huge razorback.
Yeah, she just immediately yells out, brace and prepare the weapons, or whatever they're called, the cannons. I think they have cannons, right?
Yeah, your voice rings out. Can you do a performance check for me, please?
With thaumaturgy as well.
Oh, advantage.
Yeah.
$19. Yeah. Your voice booms out across, and people kind of turn. There's some panic from the civilians, but the sailors are pretty well trained and begin to mill about, and the figures of authority amongst their ranks begin to call out instructions. Seeing as you called out brace, that's going to help in the initial start of this. So everyone feels the ship rock like it's been struck by a huge fist from beneath. Portia Eleanor, down in the cargo hold. Your box is shifted and slides across the ground in the cargo hold as you hear this horrible cracking sound of breaking wood. Something titanic is crushing and crashing into the base of the quiver sail. Everyone up on deck, they see, thanks to Salia's warning, the crests of these spines as they smash into the side of the ship. Can I have people roll initiative? We are not going into combat, but I would like a sense of people taking turns and reacting to the situation. If you could drag out your tokens, so I can add you to it.
Much we can do if they're against.
Oh, you got it.
Speed up the boat.
I mean, in combat.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's exactly why we're not rolling. And I'll put a round counter on. Is that everyone? Can you drag your token out as well, Eleanor?
Oh, sorry.
It's alright.
Where am I? Boom.
And you will need to roll again anyway, because it's disadvantage due to exhaustion.
Very true. Thank you.
Way! Exactly the same.
Nice.
Very nice. Descending. Round counter. I'll just have it at the end, that's easy enough. So, hearing this horrible sound and being thrown about inside the box, Eleanor, do you do anything?
I sort of imagine maybe the barrel getting thrown to the floor and it kind of rolling down and then her sort of almost falling out of it.
Sure, yeah.
I think
Tipped
she
over.
would instinctually... I need to update my health as well. I think she would... Now that when she leveled up, obviously you can change your invocations when you level up.
Mm-hmm.
So I have taken the Mask of Many Faces invocation,
Oh.
which means I can cast Disguise Self at will. So she would instinctually immediately cast Disguise Self to make herself look like I don't even know who.
Stowaway.
Probably just another halfling on board the ship, maybe. I can't think of one right
One
now.
of the darn strips.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she'd probably rush to, like, is there a porthole in this deck or no windows at all?
Not in the cargo hold, no.
No. She'd look around and see if there's anyone nearby. She'd also make an effort of hiding the sword, like sheathing it. Yeah, she's looking around to see if there's anyone nearby, and she's trying to sort of steady herself.
The only people nearby are the people in the brig, who are beginning to shout and call out for help, because they've obviously noticed the cracking and horrible sounds as well.
Oh. Fuck. Portia. What is Portia's mind? Oh, Eleanor's mindset. Okay. Guys, it's super difficult.
It's a horrible situation.
me trying to figure out what she would do based on her current mindset.
A lot of different roles have led to this happening.
Throwing bodies over probably wasn't a good idea. all that meat.
This is the way I'm interpreting her mindset. I'm trying to speak her mindset because it helps me roleplay and helps, I think, other people understand her actions as well.
Yeah.
I think that she's very much, as we've discussed, Tom, going through the stages of grief.
Mm-hmm.
She's still very much in the bargaining phase of that, and I think in this phase she's very much looking for opportunities to try and get rid of the feeling that she has within her. She's still in shock from everything that happened with Elsie. That was never ever planned. So I think she's very much acting on this like high adrenaline mode, doesn't really know what she's doing, and she is someone who has taken in the past great pride in group, like as you well know, like group settings and people she loved, and she can see these people in the brig suffering. She's been in situations before, defining her life where she's had to see people die at sea. She is going to help these people in the brig. She just rushes to the brig and she's going to try and open the door. And she's like she's like very in shock, and she's very much just like, I'm here to I'll help. And just she can't get words out, but she's trying to get the door open in a way to help them.
Sounds good. So it was an action to use your Mask of Many Faces?
100%, so she can't actually do anything this turn.
So that'll be next turn, but very good to know. Pushkin.
Pushkin would just be like, everybody grab hold of something!
Very good.
Nothing else.
Zalia?
Salia's being very active now. She looks towards Chris with a knowing nod as she says Nexari as well. She goes to, she's sort of like walking, doing a little fast-paced run around now. As much as she doesn't want to give orders to people, if she sees people standing around, she's just going to be like, pointing to something that they can do and just being like, quickly do that. She's gonna go and like hoist the sails to go faster, to move the boat faster, just while yelling out things things about the shark thing as well, to give people an idea of what it is.
Okay.
And how to get rid of it. Like, it's animalistic. Make as much noise as you can. Let's speed this kind of junk up.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. That will have a big impact. Salis. How is the Burgomaster reacting in this crisis situation?
Sorry, I forgot that's what the Burgomaster was called. Well, he would have heard what Salia just said, right?
Yeah, she's calling out.
In that case, he's going to cast Thunderclap.
Like, where? Just in front of him?
Like, on the water.
The water's a fair way down, but above the water, he could do? Thunderclap is like, it's like 5 feet around you.
It says heard up to 100 feet away.
But my question is,
I see what you mean.
is he like walking to the side and being like, above the water, or what?
Yeah.
Cool. Go ahead and roll.
That was way cooler before you started rules lawyering it, Tom.
You wait. You wait till I'm in Pathfinder. Can you roll a d20 with your spellcasting modifier? So on your sheet, if you go into spells, It'll say like spell attack modifier. Just click on that. Okay. But you did roll fairly high on the damage from the thunderclap. So I'll say a lot of it reflects off the top of the waves, but it does seem to have some impact as it goes down. It also kind of shocks some people into action. At the top of this round, the Razorback's going to take another pass. Could I have everyone make a dexterity saving throw for me, please? Anybody on the top deck has advantage.
Oh, thank
Okay.
God. Well, feel bad. Let's see.
22 for Salia. Salis, you have advantage. Oh god. 2 2s. Okay, so anyone who got below a 12 takes bludgeoning damage. Ouch. 15 bludgeoning damage. As you are thrown across the deck and slam into various bits of the ship. Many of the civilians and crew are tossed about, and you actually hear the screams of some people tumbling over the side. As this thing slams into the ship, it is properly thrown to the side, and you can feel the whole ship keeling to one side, but it's large enough to right itself. With your instructions, Salia, people do start moving around, and Toria Mooncloud is quick to instruct the gunners along with Notch. Because Notch is like, how do we shoot it? It's beneath the water. What do we do? And Toria, listening to what you said about just making noise, just said, just fire the cannons off. Just fire the cannons off anywhere. Fire them all at once. And the gunnery crew begins to head down to action stations, but it's going to take them around to get there. Everybody else, citizens, are kind of clinging on to each other. There's a lot of screaming. With you calling out about the sails are moving fast, Icky Teltone calls out to the other sailors in charge, and you see them clambering up the rigging, trimming the sails to keep them as taut as possible to catch as much of the wind as possible. But again, it's a big ship. It's going to take time to accelerate. In fact, in the meantime, because I do have the quiver sails stat, and this will be a fun amount of dice for somebody to roll.
Did I take half at all, or by the way, or not?
No.
Oh no, anyone who made the roll, you don't take any damage. You keep your feet. But thank you for reminding me. Let me just grab these stats. Yeah, here it is. Could I have anyone who likes rolling a lot of dice? Could I have someone roll 15 d10 for me, please?
Yeah.
Yep.
Rolling.
Damn, you did that quick.
Got a macro.
Fucker.
79. Okay. Doesn't have any resistances or anything. Nope. Alright. So... Quiver sail. Let's give it some HP. HP. It's like 79 damage. Change it so that everyone can see everything. God, let me press the button. Oh, whatever. You guys can see the color. So yeah, it's taking
Can't
some
see
hits,
that.
but oh, good. So this is one of those situations where actually it being such a big ship is both a detriment but also a benefit. There's a lot of cladding to it. Portia, back to you. You're trying to open the brig.
I was. Failed my wisdom save.
Oh,
Oh fuck! What does that mean?
Well, it says I have to damage the creature to 0, so I'm interpreting this as she was thrown into the side into a bunch of boxes. I think she you just see like black smoke becoming off the sword, and it's sort of out of the illusion, this like black veil of smoke just like coming out of her, like sort of boiling up, bubbling up in the air around her, and her eyes, even in the illusion, just go completely black, and she just starts lashing out everything around her, just like cutting through boxes at everything nearby her.
Then all sorts begin tumbling out, food and store rope and everything you can imagine that was stored in the ship just begins to tumble out and coat the floor of the cargo hold. What's Eleanor's passive perception?
15.
That's quite high, but she has just gone batshit.
I mean, it's up to you. I was going to interpret as this would basically, because she failed the whiz save, because it's not a creature, it would waste her action just her destroying stuff this turn.
Yeah.
And then it fades off because there's no target of vengeance to enact it upon.
I like that. With her passive perception, and with the fact that she's moving stuff around and smashing boxes, you would notice that in between two storage boxes that you've now knocked one of them aside, there is what looks to be a small metal pipe. The wood around the base of it is scratched heavily, and it looks like it's been shoved through the floor of the ship, this metal pipe. And there's only really one way to describe this. Impaled on the top of the pipe is a young tumbler. A creature, like a livestock creature native to Hespia. Yeah. It's dead, but it has been impaled on this, and its blood has been leaking seemingly through this pipe and out into the water beneath the ship.
Oh shit.
Someone's done this on purpose.
100% someone's done this on purpose, yeah. So that is your turn. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I think in her anger, obviously that wastes her action, but would she be able to, as part of that same sort of action, be able to sort of like just pull the tumbler off the thing and just sort of chuck it to the side so the blood is no longer leaking down?
Yeah, it's not difficult at all, especially with your rage running through you. You slash it and throw it off the top of it, and you can see that the blood flow ceases down the pipe. Okay. Stopped. So, cool. Thank you very much. Right, on to Pushkin. Still just bracing Pushkin, or are we doing anything?
I really think there's much you can do. So, yeah.
Watch as people doing their thing, getting about it, and make sure he's safe. Seeing as you're bracing yourself, you'll have advantage if there's another dexterity saving throw. Salia.
Salia's still going around doing what she can to help people that look like they're struggling to do stuff. She will look to her climbers and say, "Tell me which direction it's coming from," and just point to upwards into the little bird's nest area.
Incredible.
To go up there, and she'll just yell out generally, "Away from the sides!"
Amazing. Very, very good. Yeah, that sounds excellent to me. Burgermaster. After blowing your nose, Burgermaster? The little monogrammed neck handkerchief?
It's a natural human function, Tom. He will...
More spells or anything? You can see the creature now, if you want to target it with spells. It's not being stealthy, it's just taking run-ups and just crashing into the side of the ship.
Did we have a long rest last session?
Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't have the Expeditious Retreat spent. You haven't cast any spells except Thunderclap's a cantrip.
Cool. That's not going to work underwater, is it, you div? How far away is it?
It's continuously moving towards the ship. It's about to make its next strike. So 30 feet, 40 feet.
Damn it. Okay, right. I'm gonna have to firebolt it then.
Okay.
4.
A bolt flies down, streaking through the air, and bounces off the crystalline spines of this huge creature. But do a performance check for me, please. Oh my god, he's rolling so bad. Yeah, the people see it, and then they see it.
All my bad rolls.
They see it bounce off, and there just starts being a bit of a ripple of, we're doomed, we can't do anything, it's invincible, starting to move through the ship. Top of the round, it's going to make its next attack. However, because of the cannons being fired, it's going to make its attack with disadvantage.
Oh, fuck the boat.
Big boat. That armor class is not great, but we'll see how it does. Ooh! So that already misses. Very good. Okay, so as it's coming in, you see this huge shape snaking through the water with that shark-like swimming motion. It's getting closer and closer, but the gunnery crew are well trained, and just as it's getting within 15 feet, all the cannons at once just fire around, and it's deafening. And you see the creature just lurch down to the side and beneath the ship, and then surfaces again on the other side and begins to turn back around to come in for another attack. Okay. You know that the cannons will need time to be reloaded if they're going to be used again, and also they need to be directed. But back to the top of the round. Portia. Eleanor.
I need to change the token name. It keeps going back.
I can do that.
She now steadying herself, like looking down at this dead tumbler, like what the fuck. But I think she instantly recognizes what it is. She sort of switches back to the people in the brig and sort of shakes off the smoke that kind of like, as she like dashes towards there, it kind of leaves like an image of her behind her almost, with just smoke before it dissipates into the floor. And she just rushes forwards to it's the brig, like iron bars, I imagine.
Yeah, very simple. Iron bars with a door, and the door has a large lock to it.
She is going to she just shouts at them. She just says, stand back! And she's going to cast Wrathful Smite. And then she's going to hit into the bars with the Bloodhorn. Not Wrathful Smite, Searing Smite, sorry.
I did wonder. Psychic
Yes,
damage.
Sorry, yeah, meant the fire one.
Very cool.
Yeah, so she's going to hit in.
Yeah, as you cast it, this deep red runs through the blade. That hits, beats the AC.
That's an extra d6 fire damage.
Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Oh my god. Yeah, with that, the sword just cuts through. There's a moment of resistance as it hits the lock itself, and the metal clashes, and there's sparks flying out. But you just feel this surge of strength, and the sword just slices down through it.
She definitely doesn't know what to do, but she's certainly just, now she's cut them open, she just says, can she do a check to see what she would think, because Natalie knows fuck all about what to do in this situation, but I feel like Portia, having experienced not something exactly similar, but also a ship being fucked basically, would she be able to do some sort of check to determine what would be the best place to be on the ship?
Up on the main deck.
Up on the main deck.
100%. You don't need to make a check.
She just shouts and says, "Get to the main deck!"
Yeah, they don't need telling twice. They all begin milling out through the now open door, and they all just say, "Thank you," as they go past and begin scrambling up towards the main deck. Very good. Oh, Pushkin!
Yeah. Hanging on.
Very good.
He would look around to see who might have gone flung over the side.
We need to roll for that, actually. So that can be your turn. This is going to be out of everyone, because everyone's up on the deck. So, first of all, roll a d6 for me. Let's see how many went overboard.
Damn.
Or I need a d100 4 times, and I may have to ask you for a reroll. 47. Thank you. 37. Oh no, that's a real sad one. 63. That's one you really didn't want to lose right now. These are terrible rolls. 58.
Vicky's like, what? From the crow's nest.
Flask. Oh, he's in the brig. So I need you to roll once more, please.
By the way,
20...
Eleanor would have run with them, Tom, towards the main deck.
Okay. Which darn strip would you have disguised yourself as? There are 4.
Where are they?
There's Dorwell the dad, Baylor the mum, Tarry, the older daughter, and Pelsi, your protege.
Baylor makes the most sense.
Baylor the mum, okay. Cool. Yeah, Pushkin, you note that Dazratork, the Orcish engineer, is nowhere to be seen. Young Pelsi Darnstrip is nowhere to be seen, and you see the shouting and calling out of the other Darnstrips looking down over the side. One of the sailors working on the ropes, he's actually in charge of the ropes, Hartum Sandsifter. A human has gone over the side. And finally, one of the goblins, Tik Oof, the mother, the matriarch of that family, has gone over the side, and again, you see the family gathered round. Sorry?
A herbalist.
Not the herbalist. Tik Yella's the herbalist. That's her daughter.
It's gonna be like, everyone just hold on, we'll be fine!
Oh, the despair!
I don't know what Cook's meant to do.
Yeah, 100%. I get you. Salia.
So she sees one of the rope guys have gone over.
Yep.
Was that an important role?
Yeah, the guy in charge of the use of the ropes on the ship.
Oh yeah, she's gonna
Crucial.
take over that guy.
Take over doing the job.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, just to get the ship moving even faster.
Yep.
And she'll just. Is everyone moving to the middle?
Mostly, but the family of those who have gone overboard are crowding along the sides.
Yeah, she'll reiterate it, but she's not going over there.
Yeah.
Looks above to see if the climbers have got anything to say about where it is at the moment.
Yep, they are constantly updating you, pointing out to the starboard side of the ship, the right-hand side, that it's coming in. Then they're good at their jobs. Yarn is like 60 feet, 50 feet, like cooling it out as it's coming in.
Nice. She will. Is there weapons on the ship deck near this edges?
There would be some around, yeah.
Like spears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What sort of professionals are up on the top deck right now?
Well, the Marines are still in their hammocks recovering from their illness, their mysterious illness. Toria would have come back up now, so she's around. She's left the gunnery crew to do what they're doing. Beyond that, not
Hmm.
much.
Okay. So if there's spears around, I should say, between cannon fire, throw the spears directly at the beast, just to discourage it, basically, and make sound, lots of sound.
Hey, you're telling everyone to do that?
The general shouting out with thaumaturgy, yeah.
Okay. Roger that.
But also fucking brace as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burgermaster? Anything from you? No more spells? It's coming in from the other side. You want to try another firebolt or do something else?
Scary.
You could try going to the lower decks and get closer to it with your thunderclap. But it might be more dangerous for you. Oh my god. Goes flying off once more, but again, I'd ask you to do a performance check for me, please. Oh my god. You've rolled like 2, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I was gonna see if that would rally people to throw some spears, but not so much this time. So it is gonna come in unimpeded this time.
No.
Yep, it hits. Again, could I have everyone make a dexterity saving throw for me, please? Pushkin with advantage.
Whoops, I rolled a damage.
That's fine, I'm gonna need that. 90. Nice. Oh, Burgermaster. It's another 5, Jesus. 12 damage to you, Burgermaster.
Any to Eleanor, or she pass?
14. No, you do take 12 as well.
Ouch.
Yeah. Everyone else is fine. The people who have been gathered near the center of the ship are fine. They're all like braced up and ready to go. But
Fuck,
there
I-
are some family members near the edge of the ship.
Yeah.
So none for Dazra. Okay, it's gonna be the Dawn Strips and the Ticks. Oh,
You built this boat up just to tear it down, Tom.
I did. I will say, things are happening. You are starting to accelerate. Things are working. You're not fucked. Then spotting the pipe with the passive perception was a really big deal as well. Blah 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 blah. Right. So we'll do the Dawn Strips first. There are 3 of them up here. I mean, Pelsi went overboard.
Or are you going to see if they're going to jump in?
Yeah,
Because that is
suicide.
Yeah.
I know, but like, it's their 8-year-old daughter.
Key wisdom for them.
Yeah, I think that has to be right. DC.
I think it'd have to be pretty low though.
Yeah. DC 10. I'll give each of them a +2 modifier. Dorwell. He's going in. Baylor. She's staying. And Tarry. Yeah, she's staying as well. I'll say, with Dorwell jumping off, they scream out, and Baylor actually kind of comes to her senses and actually takes Tarry away from the side, so they're not going to fall in. But yeah, Dorwell leaps off to try and save Pelsi. And then the ticks. God, the herbalist isn't on. She's tending people. Tick Oof is overboard. Tick Tar. I'm just gonna roll a d20. 11 or higher. One of them is going overboard. No. Nice. Keep their footing. Oh god, so stressful. I'd say probably at this point as well, it's been long enough that the Lord's come to his senses a little bit, and it's just like, we have to get out of here! Do something! Someone do something! That's the extent of his usefulness. Eleanor.
How close is she to the top deck now?
If you've been heading up,
Mm-hmm.
your movement speed is 25, so halfling.
Mm-hmm.
She did fail a save there, didn't she?
Yeah, she probably would have got to. She's on the like first deck down, the civilian. The sailor and marine deck.
She would. She would. Well, she smashed herself into the side of the boat, I imagine. I think again the smoke comes up, her eyes black once more, turns around, just does a mighty swing into the side of the boat.
Ooh.
Hits.
Still got Searing Smite on.
Oh, holy shit! Oh, it gets expended once you've used it,
Oh, okay. Ignore that then.
which will keep it under the damage threshold. So you're okay.
But as it kind of wears off again, she just says, "Come on, hold it together," and then just continues pushing forward to the top deck as best she can.
Very good.
Does she have heals?
Can't use my action to.
Yeah,
Oh, damn.
the curse is strong. Pushkin.
Can Pushkin see anyone who might have been knocked unconscious by the thing smashing into the boat?
Yeah, there's people have been tossed about, even if they're still on the deck. There's some people who've taken some nasty knocks, like head wounds and such. Yeah, you can see some people currently unconscious.
He'd make his way over to the nearest one and try and stabilize them, make sure they're okay, that sort of thing.
I'll say it's one who would be not so confident on their feet. Let's go with one. Yeah, the hobgoblin inventor. Yeah, go ahead and make a medicine check. Oh my
Fucking
nose.
third one
Fuck
of the day.
Pushkin. Yeah. Yeah, with that I'll say not only do you manage to stabilize him, but you also use some nearby equipment to kind of prop him up in a position where he's going to be safe from further shaking of the ship.
Yeah.
Very nice. Salia, the ship is beginning to move and speed up
Yeah.
now. And you can hear a call from the gun deck below calling up just like, "Guns ready!"
Nice. Kind of run out of new things I think I can do.
Mhm.
I think she's just still helping with the rope thing because there's
Yeah.
a man short down there.
Yeah, it's a full-time job right now. That absolutely would take your action.
Yeah, just super sweating the whole time.
Mm-hmm. I'm probably incredibly frustrated trying to get this stupid,
Oh, yeah.
huge, stupid ship to move.
And the fact she's got all the people around, like, she never would have to do that before. They'll just be doing it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah. You know that many Sari ships are composite ships and can actually like break apart flexibly into smaller ships as needed. So that if there's a large predator, they can actually form like a swarm and use that to escape the predator and such. It's Amazing. But
Nice.
Burgomaster, on 3 HP, Brutus yapping in your arms. What's the plan? What form does that take? Does he run to his cabin? Does he out over the side of the ship? Okay, very good. With that being a higher level spell, I'll say, can you roll your spell attack modifier again, but with advantage this time? Because this is a much bigger noise. 15's already good. Okay, so with advantage, it's the 15. Okay. So, after hearing guns ready from below, Sally, you're kind of waiting for your climbers to call out when they should be used. But before that even happens, you just hear this almighty, like, thunderous boom from the side of the ship, and you see the Burgomaster stood there with his hat flying back off his head and his coattails flapping behind him.
And when Tom panics or something makes him jump, he does this little scream, and I imagine that's what he's doing at the moment, just like, huh?
And all the fur on Brutus stands up on end. But with that, you rolled high enough. I'll say you give the creature disadvantage as it makes its attack this round. Okay.
Thank you, Burgomaster.
So, 2... roll them one at a time for suspense. That definitely would hit. Disadvantage, though.
Oh, come on.
Oh, it's on the 3. Kieran, if you wouldn't mind, I need another set of damage. And I need deck saves on the ship. Sally, you don't have to make one. Because you're up in the ropes doing all that stuff. The whole point of that is the rigging up there. Eleanor does, Pushkin does with advantage, and Burgomaster definitely does.
Oh, fuck, I think I failed again.
You did.
Oh, shit.
Didn't help that guy though, did it?
11. Oh, yep. No advantage, Burgomaster. 10 damage.
I'm down.
Yep.
Bye.
Eleanor is knocked unconscious. Her head cracks against the stairs leading up to the top deck. Burgomaster, you were stood at the side of the ship, casting your spell,
Oh no.
and you failed your deck save. I need you to roll a straight. We're going to make this a 50-50 flip for which direction you fall.
I'm enjoying this, the thought of him going over the side and just shouting, "Joe!"
Based on the rolls today, Burgomaster dying is
1 to 10, you go over the side. 11 to 20, you fall back onto the decking. Please roll for me, Burgomaster.
Oh my fucking god.
Okay.
when he needed it.
You, as the deck rocks and you are slammed, all the air is pushed out of you. You're winded on the railing at the side, and you start to black out. The black closes in, but you hear the yapping of Brutus behind you, and you know you got to help your little boy. So you manage with the last of your strength to push off from the railing and slump onto the decking behind you,
My baby!
with Brutus next to you.
We doing injury checks in this one?
Oh yeah, injury checks are always fun. Con save, please. Halfling. Yep, there it is.
Could
And
have
a 10
used
pass as well.
fucking 18 before.
No injuries immediate here. And with everything that's gone on, there's now no citizens near the sides of the ship. The danger is really just the damage to the ship itself. So 87 this time. You start to see anyone who can, like, bits of the ship are trailing out from the side. These horrible spines of the Razorback are just ripping through the base of the ship. Fortunately, there's now no one in the brig. and the only creatures in the cargo hold are the other livestock that are being transported along. But the quiver sail is beginning to take on water in the cargo hold.
Shit.
But it is starting to move, and it's starting to pick up a considerable pace with everything that Salia's done for it. The creature as well seems to be making slower and slower, like, pulls back round. It no longer seems like a properly hunting predator, and its attacks are becoming less steady. You think perhaps you might make it out. Eleanor, though, I need a death saving throw.
Just give me the fucking... Okay.
Ooh.
That's a success. Pushkin.
Pushkin would see the Burgomaster like go unconscious on the side.
Mhm.
You'd like scramble over the deck and try and stabilize him.
Hell yeah. Roll that medicine check. Very nice. Burgomaster, you are stable. You do not need to make death saving throws. Pushkin cradles your head, puts your hat back on.
He'd like pat his pockets to see if he can revive him with a pack protein, but realizes he doesn't have any because he used them up.
Oh, they were all given. Salia working on the ropes. You can see it is working. The thing's starting to pick up speed.
Mhm.
You know the cannons are primed, ready to interrupt another run, and the creature itself does seem to be flagging in its attack runs.
I think should yell that out to everyone. Don't stop now. One more round. Should be able to. It should fall back. It's falling back basically.
It does seem to be, yeah.
Yeah. Is that information come from the climbers?
Yeah.
Or can I see
Yeah.
it as well?
You are up amongst the masts, like having to deal with the rope, so you can see it as well. But their whole thing is keeping an eye on it, so they're keeping it updated. And they will make sure the cannons are fired, and therefore the creature will have disadvantage again. That would hit. Oh, that will not hit though. Woo! And as the cannons ring out once more, this incredible, deafening, terrifying, and the cannon shot just flings off.
Sorry, Tom. One more thing as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we see any water coming up from the thing yet, or are we just too high up?
You're all either on the main deck or above. There's no sign of that, but you do see a lot of wood in the water trailing out behind the ship.
Do we see any side of the ship sort of sinking down at all yet?
Not yet, no.
Yeah.
Not yet. So the creature does miss, and it starts to move away, and there's a hesitant cheer starts to come up from those on deck, but it does form a wide arc and come back around. You think this might be its final attempt on the ship. Eleanor, another death saving throw for me, please.
Fuck's sake.
That is a fail.
So close.
One success, one fail, but still far from death for now. Pushkin, you've stabilized the Burgomaster.
Can you see anyone else who looks fucked over?
Thing is, there hasn't been another hit. I will say people largely seem to be okay. They've kind of gathered up into their family groups and are braced. I will say in particular, your good friend Chuck has done a very good job of being a cushion, essentially, for people, and has 15 different pseudopods, out little seat belts for all the people around him, and has helped people in this crisis situation.
Good. You just call out, stay middle, and just brace.
Yeah, very good. Salia, no cannons ready this time. You know that won't be the case.
Not much I can do about it from the rigging. She would just say, "No cannons this time. Stab your feet at least."
Very good.
So I did think of something else a second ago, and I've forgotten what it was. No, I'm not gonna. That's it.
Okay. Some people stamp their feet, but others, like, kind of buoyed by each of you calling out in a leadership role, and even the bravery of Salis casting out on the side of the ship. People are just like screaming and shouting down at the water, and there's a sense of like fighting back. And that was a high enough roll. It's going to have disadvantage on its attack coming in this time. So final attack.
Oh.
That would hit.
Oh, nearly a 1.
Does hit. 15 D10. No one needs to make any saves though.
No?
Well, you'd automatically fail, so it would just
Oh.
be another failed death save.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
No, not Pushkin.
Oh, Pushkin will. Sorry, yes. Ooh!
Low roll.
6 1s in there.
Oh shit.
Ooh, Pushkin, you do fail. 11 damage to you, Pushkin, as having to try and cushion the Burgomaster from being further injured. You take a hit yourself. 57.
I like the idea that the Burgomaster like rolls on his tail. Really hurts.
Hear the cat.
Don't touch me!
Very good. This time again, you could. There's less of an impact because it's practically passing through the center of the ship now. It's torn up so much of the base of the ship, and you can all hear gushing water coming into the lower decks. The ship is taking a real punishment. But as it swims further out, you see the spines just get closer and closer to the top of the waves, and the dark shape diminishes into the water.
Nice.
Still got a death save to make.
You have a very important death save to make. Oh my god.
2d.
Okay. And I will say at this point, I was keeping this in mind. Some of the people that you freed from the brig have noticed that you didn't make it all the way up the stairs with them, and have come back to check on you and do stabilize you.
Okay.
You will survive. The ship limps forward, and all that speed that you'd managed to generate, Salia, to help get away from the creature, you can see is starting to diminish as water's coming onto the ship beneath.
Is it visibly like half sinking now?
The ship is riding lower in the water. Yeah. However, this ship is still fully crewed. The crew begins to work, hit bilging pumps and buckets, and just set to. The ship's main carpenter is still on the ship, and just conscript people, just like you're coming with me. We need to start shoring up these holes and heads down below deck with the backup timber to begin patching up what they can. The gunnery crew lend help wherever they can as well. The Lord Ernst just looks completely dazed and just in a state of shock. He's just sitting in the middle of the deck, surrounded by his retinue. Many families are screaming out that people were lost over the side of the ship, and that we have to go back for them. What's everyone doing?
Pushkin would just be making sure no one's too hurt on the deck, just like, oh.
Salia's sweating on the ropes at the moment. She'll come down when she's not needed.
Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah, Pushkin, you can see there's a lot of scrapes and bruises and a lot of shock, but there's no one in a dire situation.
He'd just be like, We'll probably get there tomorrow. The beast won't come after us again. That kind of crap.
Comforting people. Very good. Yeah. Some of the shouts from the families go up towards Icky, like pleading with him to turn the ship around. He's not doing anything of the kind. Do any of you sympathize with the families, or is it just a we need to keep moving forward kind of situation?
Mm.
Completely up to you.
Salia would probably. Hannah doesn't know, but Salia would probably say something about the sea and being taken by the sea, and that's something sorry-ish that I can't think of.
Yeah, kind of saying like if this was meant to be, then it was meant to be. We should count ourselves in the sea's good graces that we are still alive, and we shouldn't waste that kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that sentiment. Okay. Yeah, and with the huge leadership role that you took in that crisis, people do listen, and the ship continues on. And eventually, people start limping off to get some exhausted rest.
Sorry, Salia would also mention something about it was only through the good work of everyone here, the group team effort, that we were able to get away.
Oh yeah, people are on board with your message, and everyone noticed the Lord Ernst and his retinue just sitting in the middle of the deck,
Oh yeah.
doing nothing at all. Right, I've got some more names to cross off my list.
Do you need some D100s? No.
No.
Oh,
I mean the people who went overboard.
Oh, then, yeah.
Seeing as you're not going back for them. Pelsi. A little Pelsi Dawn Strip and her father. Artem. So yeah, there's a real sense of shocked survival and solemn reflection. More people lost on this expedition that the Lord talked up as this great promised land and everything will be fine. So yeah, there's some restless sleep in the night. Artem Sandsifter, ropes lost at sea, and Tick Oof. Mother lost at sea. Okay, the Burgomaster. Here's an interesting point. When you went unconscious, Eleanor, would your disguised self have dropped?
No, it's not
It
consequential.
only lasts an hour, though.
That's
Yeah,
true.
That's true.
And Baylor's around. Whoa, okay. So yeah, within that hour, there definitely would be a strange moment where you've been. Would Pushkin or anyone react particularly to the prisoners having been let out as well?
Oh, he wouldn't give a shit. He'd just be like, thank God.
Okay.
I think Salia would be like, nice to see you. Yeah, we needed you up here.
Okay.
He would be just staying on deck and like making sure everyone's okay until they all file off, basically.
Okay. Well, something's just come into my mind, which I probably should have realized before, but it's fine, in the chaos of the ship. As Dredge made it up onto the main deck, he would have immediately pointed at someone to you, like pointing them out to you, Pushkin, and just said, it's the scratchy figure. Pushkin.
Which one, Dredge? He hobbles along with his cane.
Yep. He'd point, and through the crowd you see, as her expression changes, having been pointed at, and she's no fool, the young Triton survivor of the noble cause, Xerxes, as Dredge clearly points her out through the crowd.
It's not technically bad to really link it. I think after everyone's gone, he would say to the commander.
Well, as she's pointed out and she realizes she's being pointed to, you would notice that she just starts running towards the edge of the ship.
Jump off.
Yep.
Just looks at. Does she jump off?
She's clearly sprinting towards the side of the ship to leap off. And Dredge would say to you, I'm fast. I can get her.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, he doesn't. He knows it's not Eleanor. He doesn't know about sabotage.
Yeah, there's
So
a lot
he-
of conflicting information.
So he'd be
in his
like,
head.
"No, Dredge, well done, but too much for now."
Dredge would nod and kind of stand up out of the hunting stance he was in. And yeah, Xerxes just runs towards the edge. Some people call out, just like, "What are you doing?" And she just dives elegantly over the side and into the water.
And just looks very confused and kind of shrugs. Like, what the fuck?
Amazing. So back to Eleanor's stuff. You would have been brought up, Eleanor, because actually no, you would have been brought down to the civilian hammock section. God, this gets so interesting.
Because she saved the prisoners, would they reveal her to the higher ups already?
Well, yeah, but they don't know there's anything to do with disguise. They just think oh, Baylor Darnstrip helped us. And then she got knocked out. Quick, let's take her to a hammock so she can rest, kind of thing.
Ah, I see.
And eventually Baylor would return to her own hammock and be like, So, and it probably lines up quite nicely with the recovery from unconsciousness. So I'll say, Eleanor, you are woken in a hammock with a very confused-looking Baylor Darnstrip, who's also very teary-eyed, looking down at you, and saying, God, I have to get all my different bits of information right. She knows you as Portia. So she'd say, Portia, what are you doing in my hammock?
I don't even know how she'd react.
Yeah.
I think she would just be like blinking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I don't even know how she'd react. Sorry.
It's all right. I'm trying to filter all the information in my head as well. Because the general civilian crew don't know about the stuff with Eleanor and Portia and what have you. Horia does. Yep, go ahead.
I think Eleanor sees what happened and the fact that she was not strong enough to even make it to the top deck.
Mm-hmm.
It's a missed opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to put things right, and I don't think she reacts particularly well to that, and I think she just slumps in the hammock, defeated, like feels defeated.
Mm-hmm.
She just looks at, especially with, what was her name again?
Baylor.
Is it Kayla?
Baylor.
Baylor. she just looks to her, and the fact that she, she took on Pelsi, who she genuinely had a lot of, she saw a lot of herself in her.
Yeah.
I don't think she says anything. I think she just slumps and doesn't respond. I don't think she's got the energy to.
Vader's a halfling. Yeah, I think she knows that you are taking Pelsi under your wing, and I think she probably just grieves and just kind of sits down next to the hammock and just sobs.
I think Eleanor would begin crying too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of despair, grief in the civilian deck. The carpenters do a good job. The Lord might be a fool, but he hired decent people. And the ship is able to stop taking on water and pull up its normal speed by the time the next day dawns. As we reach 5th day of travel. Could I have... Oh no, wait, because Anya rolled a natural 20. The weather is good. Can I have a single d20 though to see if the wind picks up? The 13 hits the bracket perfectly. The wind picks up, and unless she fucks this up... Okay! Speculous Office Mills has felt a little bit overwhelmed by everything going on. She informs you that we're about... And by informed you, I'd say the Lord has gathered the remaining upper echelon, which includes you, Salia, into the room with the big map. And Speculous Office Mills reports that we're close, that we should reach in a day, but the charts, her charts for drawing in on the Isles were damaged in the attack. And she's unsure how to navigate into the different Isles themselves. And informs everyone that she's very worried about reefs and shallow rocks and such as you draw in close to the islands.
Would Sally be able to help with that? With such a big boat?
With navigating around reefs and such?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once the boat gets closer, yeah, you absolutely would.
Yeah, should just mention that then.
Very nice. Very interestingly, with that final roll going the way it did, there's not going to be a choice as such as to which of the 3 main islands you land on. We're going to roll for it. So could I have whoever's feeling touched by destiny roll
Don't Dallas.
Let's have the Burgomaster roll a d6 for me, please. Oh, I think she might be asleep. That's a drooping head. Anya! D6. You're nearly there. 8 minutes. Right, 1, 2. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Call this one Death Isle.
There's big differences between the islands. All right. So with Speculous Office Mills somewhat losing direction a little bit, the boat begins to veer down to this island down here. The day wears on. It's very much a day of people licking their wounds and trying to recover from the day before. I will remove more food.
There'd be like jubilation that there's land in sight.
So yeah, as you get towards the evening, you begin to be able to see islands of land in the distance, and you know that at some point, in a few more hours into the night, you will be able to make landfall on the Serrated Isles.
Nice.
There is jubilation from some people, particularly the sailors themselves. This is a real sailing achievement for Hespian sailors. But for many of the civilians, there's still kind of the shine of the trip has very much been burnished and taken off. Sorry, Kieran?
Can't remember what I was going to say.
That's all right. Would Pushkin have said anything about Xerxes to anyone?
Probably to the commander.
Doria.
Just what he was Dredge saw them skulking below deck. Not sure why. And obviously the fact that she jumped off the boat seems very suspicious.
A little bit. And okay, Toria would have some thoughts about that. But Eleanor, how would you be handling the situation? Are you just staying in the hammock?
She stays in the hammock.
Okay.
What'll be, will be.
Weirdly, yeah, you're kind of hiding in plain sight. The people aren't really coming down to the civilian deck. And the only people that I'm thinking of going down to the cargo hold and such, again, are civilians, sailors, Chuck. Yeah, I don't think you're spotted unless anyone thinks they'd be tripping or heading on down to the civilian deck.
Only if that's where you have drinks with the civilians.
The drinks so far have been on the Marines deck because that's where there's a bit more of an open space to drink.
Probably not then.
But if she was going down to check on particular people, she might.
Not massively. Maybe just to give them especially the carpenters, because one of them says like a big commendable, well done sort of thing.
Yeah.
Pushkin would have just gone to check on the supplies, but he wouldn't have stopped off on the civilian deck.
Yeah,
And to see Chuck.
Yeah, and you're pretty secured in a hammock. Chuck is I don't know how to describe it. You come down to see Chuck Pushkin, and he looks like he's melted a bit. His form is a lot more slumped down, and he seems very sad and melancholy. And as you come over to him, you can see why, and it's because his little mushroom farm has been washed away by the water that came in.
Pushkin put a hand on him and be like, "The mushrooms may be dead, Chuck, but you helped a lot of people up there."
Oh. Rooms.
Is any of it salvageable?
Not really. The soil and such that he'd cultivated has been kind of scattered about the base, or pumped back out through the bilging pumps as it was all tossed up in the water.
He's like, "I'm sorry for the mushrooms, Chuck, but we'll find you somewhere nice on the isle. We're right by land now."
He kind of perks up a little bit at that and just says, "New rooms?"
Exactly. And ones that you've probably never seen before as well. You'll have to get to know them properly. You'll be the first mushroom farmer in a new land.
You see him straighten up a bit, and floating through his body towards this little pseudopod that's stretching out towards you, Pushkin. You see there is a little mushroom in there, and it kind of... The word I'm going to use is slurps. It slurps out of the pseudopod onto the surface of it. And he says, spores.
Wait, what did he say?
Spores.
Well done, Chuck. That will definitely help.
Yeah, and there's a little smile creases the front of his gunker face. And also, because the water got in to the base, can I have... Let's just call it a D20. Someone just roll a D20 for me, please. Oh, okay. There is a little bit of food left. There's enough food. Yeah, to kind of frugally feed you for literally the day that you land on the beach. So,
Okay.
Pushkin, you think you're going to need to start getting food straight away.
Yeah.
But as land creeps over the horizon, some excitement ripples through the crew and the passengers of the Quiver Sail. Eleanor, you sit in your morose state in the hammock, going unnoticed by those who would call you to justice for your crimes. The Lord has retreated to his cabin and seems to be secluding himself with the remains of his retinue. But whether your characters are excited about the sign of the island or not, you know that the next day will bring a whole new set of adventures, questions, challenges, and opportunities. And we'll
Mainly
end...
problems.
Mainly problems. And we'll end today's session there.